Just as it is critically important to monitor student performance and outcomes in kindergarten through 12th grade, it is equally important to follow post-secondary educational outcomes of students you have served. Collecting and analyzing data about students attending post-secondary education can help district and school leaders assess the effectiveness of their programs in developing graduates who are college-ready. Edwin Analytics provides a number of reports that detail the post-secondary educational outcomes of public high school students. These reports are vital for all stakeholders who want to understand and use information about the number and percentage of graduates who continue their education after high school, and the details about where they enroll, how they achieve, and their eventual outcomes. Click the on-screen questions to learn more about these reports. We're going to take a look at 3 reports on post-secondary outcomes. CR 301, High School Feedback for Massachusetts Public High School Graduates. CR 302, High School Feedback for Massachusetts School-to-College Cohort. And CR 303, Post-Secondary Readiness by Academic Preparation. The chart on screen shows which of the 3 reports contains certain information about Massachusetts public high school graduates. Information for these reports comes from 2 different sources. Data for CR 301 and for the first section of CR 303 come from the National Student Clearinghouse, a nonprofit organization that works with school districts and higher education institutions to monitor and report on semester-to-semester enrollment rates for students. More than 96% of higher education institutions provide current enrollment and graduation data to the Clearinghouse. And many school districts subscribe to receive information in order to learn more about the educational experiences of their graduates after they leave high school. The data for CR 302 and for the second section of the CR 303 report are based on information reported to the Massachusetts Department of Higher Education from University of Massachusetts campuses, Massachusetts State Universities, and Massachusetts community colleges. The most notable differences in these 3 reports can be found on the prompt screen, where users select the information they want to analyze. On this screen, the box labeled Post-Secondary Sections to Display is a little different for each report. You can explore all of these reports, or you can just jump to the one you want to learn the most about. Hover over the report names for a brief description of each, or click the name to learn more about what's in the report. You can choose to run this report for the district as a whole, or for a single high school by selecting your preference in the filters on the opening page. Both the district and school view report can be run with a number of filters, but usually it is best to start with the broadest view of the data. To begin, you must select the school year, district, and then school. You can select all of the schools in the district or individual schools. You can filter the report to show only students considered high-need students from specific race or ethnicity groups, gender, or specific student populations, such as English language learners, students with disabilities, or students participating in career vocational technical education programs. We are going to run this report without any of these optional filters to get the broadest view, but for just one school in order to display it concisely. You may choose students who attend post-secondary higher education the immediate fall following graduation, or within 16 months of graduation. The report displays data for each of the grade levels in the school. In Section A, you'll see post-secondary enrollment for the graduating year selected. You can see the total number of students who graduated in the given year, as well as the number and percentage of those who enrolled in post-secondary education, either full or part-time. These figures are provided for the selected school, the district as a whole, and for the entire state. Section B1 shows the post-secondary enrollment for each student subgroup, including ethnicity, gender, and high-need status. In this example, Of 199 females who graduated high school in 2013 in this district, 139 from the selected school enrolled in college, which was 69.8% of those females who graduated. In Section B2, the number and percentage of students from the selected school who enrolled in each type of post-secondary institution, such as 4-year private or 2-year public, are identified both for in-state and out-of-state institutions. Again, data is provided for the selected school, district, and state totals. Section C compares college-going among graduates who did and who did not complete a MassCore course of study, or who completed 1, 2, or no advanced placement courses. Section C3 gives the average SAT score in each assessment section for those who enrolled in college or not. Data in Section D give the number and percentage of students overall who demonstrate first to second year persistence. Persistence is defined as continued enrollment at any post-secondary institution. As it is important for students to enroll in college as freshmen, it is equally important that they remain in college for their second and subsequent years. It should be noted that because these results reflect the second year of college, a full array of data may not be available until at least 2 years after graduation. Sections D2 and D3 give data disaggregated by student characteristic for first to second year persistence at any institution, and also at the initial institution. Sections D4 and D5 disaggregate persistence by institution type. Section E gives numbers and percentage of students who obtained their desired degree. This information is provided in the whole as well as disaggregated by student characteristic and by institution type. As noted previously, this data will take even more years to appear, since students need at least 2 to 4 years to complete their intended degree. The original cohort data is updated annually as new information becomes available. Finally, Section F provides a listing of types and individually identified post-secondary institutions, and the number of students attending each of those institutions from the identified district or school. Like CR 301, this report provides a list of the colleges and universities in which graduates from the identified high school or district enrolled. It also provides the number of students from the selected cohort that enrolled in each institution. But CR 302 is different in that it only provides information for students attending the 28 undergraduate public institutions in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. To find out where graduates from your district or school enrolled in college anywhere in the country, you'll want to use CR 301. CR 303 has 2 sections. The first provides information on students who enrolled in public or private post-secondary institutions, and details post-secondary enrollment, second-year persistence, and first-degree attainment. The public and private post-secondary institution information in the report is based on information from NSC, the National Student Clearinghouse. The second section provides information on only those students who enrolled in a Massachusetts public post-secondary institution, the school-to-college cohort, and details Massachusetts post-secondary enrollment, first-term developmental coursework enrollment, first-year credit attainment, second-year persistence, and first-degree attainment. The Massachusetts public post-secondary institution information in the report is based on information reported to DHE, the Massachusetts Department of Higher Education, from University of Massachusetts campuses, Massachusetts state universities, and Massachusetts community colleges. The student population reported on in CR 303 includes students who graduated from a Massachusetts public high school in the selected graduation year and who also enrolled in a post-secondary institution the immediate fall after high school graduation, or within 16 months of high school graduation. Much of the data pertaining to college credits earned and degree completion may take years to become available, but are updated annually. Click on a report name to learn how to use it in your inquiry into post-secondary student outcomes. Before you look too deeply at the data, it's a good idea to identify some guiding questions to help focus your analysis. Naturally, these questions should reflect your unique interests and concerns, but the questions shown here can get you started. For example, you may want to find information about the relationship between a rigorous program of study, as measured by Mass Core or AP courses, and enrollment rates in post-secondary education. Again, you can find this from each report, but with slightly different data presentations. CR 301 will show you the enrollment rates for students who completed a Mass Core program of study, compared to those who did not. It also compares those students who took one or more AP courses with those who took none. The comparison also includes enrollment rates across the state for the same categories. You can also use these reports to analyze the college enrollment of different student subgroups, including those for gender, race or ethnicity, low income status, ELL status, disability status, and high needs status. You can look for trends in students' college going and identify groups showing lower enrollment rates. Ultimately, you'll want to use the data to identify possible root causes for the results. Then, you can target professional development, instructional improvements, and appropriate interventions where they're needed most. Before you look too deeply at the data, it's a good idea to identify some guiding questions to help focus your analysis. Naturally, these questions should reflect your unique interests and concerns, but the questions shown here can get you started. For example, you may want to look at post-secondary educational outcomes for student subgroups in your school or district. You can select subgroups by any combination of gender, ethnicity, economic or need status, or program status, such as participation in ELL, career, vocational, and technical education, or receiving support through an IEP. You can filter by student subgroup from the prompt screen from any of the post-secondary outcomes reports. Be sure to be careful when using filters. If you choose too many for any one search, you may find that no data are reported. When selecting just students with low income status, you can see that about 37% of students from this district enrolled in post-secondary education, which is slightly better than the state average for low-income students at 35%. Likewise, the post-secondary persistence for low-income students, which is almost 89%, is higher than the state average of 80%. Next, you might wonder if your students in the low-income subgroup are adequately prepared for college. What percentage of these students enroll in remedial courses? From this report, you can see that 33% of your low-income students enrolled in developmental math courses during their first term, which is 5% less than the state. That's great. However, 27% of your low-income students took developmental writing courses in their first year, 5% more than the state. This could indicate a need for more rigorous writing instruction or additional supports to prepare all of your students for college-level writing. If you find a significant discrepancy between subgroups in your district or school, or a sizable difference between your percentage and the state average, you might want to look further to identify the root cause. Before you look too deeply at the data, it's a good idea to identify some guiding questions to help focus your analysis. Naturally, these questions should reflect your unique interests and concerns, but the questions shown here can get you started. For example, you might want to find out what difference a rigorous program of study, such as Mass Core or advanced placement courses in your school or district, make for students after high school. How might the data affect how counselors emphasize the need for a rigorous course of study for college-bound students? As we've seen, many questions can be answered by multiple reports, but this question, relating persistence and degree obtainment to academic preparation, can only be answered from CR 303. Persistence refers to remaining in college or re-enrolling for additional years once begun. And degree obtainment means completing the degree program, whether it be a 2- or a 4-year degree. Although you can get a report with data on persistence and degree obtainment in any of the resources, you can only answer this particular question with CR 303, because that is the only report that compares persistence and degree obtainment with academic preparation. Ultimately, you'll want to use this data to help evaluate your curriculum, instruction, and interventions for students. Then, you can target professional development and instructional improvements where they may be needed most. Once you've fully explored these reports and analyzed the data you found there, you'll want to plan next steps. Conducting a root cause analysis can help you and your colleagues investigate below the surface and the symptoms to possibly reveal deeper issues and systemic problems, such as transportation concerns or home environment conditions that may have led to lower college-going or degree completion rates. Then, you'll want to work in district or school teams to develop strategies that address those systemic challenges, either through targeted professional development with educators or through new scaffolds of support and focused instruction for your students. In school and district profiles, you can compare your school or district to neighboring or similar districts using the Graduates Attending Institutions of Higher Education report or the MassCore Completion report. SAHS, the Success After High School report, may also be a helpful tool in examining a foundational level of data. In Edwin Analytics, you may want to access CR 304, Post-Secondary Outcomes of Public High School Graduates, View by Massachusetts Public Post-Secondary Institution, which details post-secondary enrollment, achievement, and outcomes of Massachusetts public graduating students from a fall enrollment class in a specific Massachusetts public post-secondary institution. It also contains details by feeder Massachusetts public high schools.